Hello there guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, then welcome. My name is Mariana, aka Mary B, and I'm so happy to meet you. I know lots of you guys are considering working on cruise ships, or you have a cruise ship contract, your first cruise ship contract coming up soon, and you want to know if cruise ships is really right for you. Oh, by the way, if you are new here, I am a professional singer. I work on cruise ships and I'm currently on board Royal Caribbean's Freedom of the Seas. So y'all, I'm here with the deets. I'm gonna give you guys the pros and the cons of working on cruise ships, and I've been doing it for years. So I've gathered a few pros and quite a lot of cons. But you know, at the end of the day, there are advantages and disadvantages to every single job. You cannot escape that. So despite all the ups and downs, when I give you guys the pros and the cons, you guys can decide for yourself if this is right for you or not. Maybe not, you know. I also just finished filming my how to get employment or how to get a job on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship. So if that is something that you guys are interested in, I would have had that one posted before this video, so I'll have it linked in the description box for you guys to check out. I should let you know, I have like 13 pros and 17 cons. I have everything. Like, it's a lot to remember. I sat down a whole day and wrote these down, you guys. I really went in depth into this, okay? Because I really wanted to be straight up with you guys. I have everything written down in my little notebook here. It's quite a lot. So this video may be a long one. I'll try my best to edit it down to as short as possible as I possibly can, but it's probably going to be a long one. So you guys can grab snacks, your tea, and let's get right into it. Oh wait, but before we do that, if this video helps you out in any way, please be sure to give it a thumbs up for me, because that really helps me out, and it will also help other people who are interested in this kind of content to see the video as well, so they will also know if working on cruise ships is good, right for them. You know, get what I'm saying? And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section down below right there. I will answer them to the best of my ability. And subscribe. I'd really love it if you would join the little growing Mary B family and click that notification bell so that you don't miss another upload from me. Let's get right into it, you guys. Hello everybody, this is your captain. Just one life, baby. So live it up, take it one day at a time. Keep it shining like the stars we see above. These are in no particular order. I'm gonna start off with the pros. As I told you guys, I have 13 pros. Build you guys before I tear you down. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay. First pro is that you get paid to travel. Do I even need to elaborate on that? So many of us would love to travel, but we don't have the money to do it. So why not just get a job that allows you the opportunity to travel while you get paid as well? I think that's just brilliant. I grew up poor and sheltered. I had no connections anywhere. So for me, like, this is a dream come true, if I'm being honest, despite all the cons that I have coming. You know, this is still a dream come true, because this opportunity has allowed me to travel to 43 countries other than my homeland, Trinidad and Tobago. 43 countries, and that is 42 countries more than I even assumed, that I even thought was possible. That's the biggest pro in my book. Pro number 2, you have little to no cost of living. All expenses paid, you guys. All your basic living expenses are paid. Free accommodation, no water bill, electricity, food, no rent or monthly utilities to be paid. So I would say that that's a great perk, wouldn't you? The next pro is that we have free healthcare, and it's not like in the US where you have all these premiums to pay in order to be taken care of in a health facility, or like the rest of the world that say you have free healthcare, when in reality, we are actually paying for healthcare through our taxes. So technically, it's not free. If you didn't tax us, then it would be free. Like here on cruise ships. Another pro is that flights to and from the ship are provided. Now, this may vary by company or even by your job description or your job title, sorry, but generally they're free. Which brings me to the other pro. You get to rack up those airline flight miles, you guys. I have miles, thousands of miles on American Airlines just because the company constantly books me, most times through American Airlines or Caribbean Airlines sometimes. But when you travel through those airlines constantly, you keep earning miles. And then at any point in time, I could just use those miles to pay for free personal travel for myself, you know? So that is absolutely amazing for me as well. Another pro is work is literally just upstairs or down the hall. The commute to work, you can wake up 15 minutes before work and get to work on time. Of course, I cannot do that because I take a long time to get ready. But generally, work is I just need to take an elevator and I'm at work. It's that simple. You live where you work. So I think that's a bonus. It's just amazing to not have to be in traffic for 1 hour to get to work. Leave home 2 hours earlier just to get to work on time. I love that. I can just go upstairs and I'm there. Another pro is that we get long vacations between contracts. Your vacation is roughly like around 2 to 3 months long. Tell me, which one of your friends who has a job in corporate has a vacation for even more than a month? Sometimes even more than a week. People work all year to get 1 week vacation, or sometimes all year to get 2 weeks vacation. We get 2 to 3 months. Another pro, of course, is that you get to save lots of money because there is little to no living expenses. It's as simple as that. If you're smart, you'll save money. Another pro is that you make like really good close friends around the world. Some of my closest friends are not from Trinidad and Tobago. I have really, really close friends in the US, Italy, England, one really, really close friend in the Ukraine. This is also a perk because, you know, you can get anywhere you travel, you have friends there, and you can get somewhere to stay for free as well. I mean, that's of course not the reason why I have close friends, but I'm just saying it's like an additional perk. Another pro is that we have the most amazing sunsets and rises. Do you say sunrises or sunrises? Okay, y'all know what I'm trying to say, okay? When I'm at home, I get to see beautiful sunsets. I never see sunrise because I'm never awake before the sun rises. But I get to see beautiful sunsets. But here, it's totally different. It's just in the middle of the ocean, just over the horizon, just peaceful and calm, no trees or anything like that around, just ocean, just water, it's just amazing. Another pro is that you may fall in love. Some people get into serious relationships and end up getting married, having kids, and traveling the world together. What is better than traveling with the person that you love? Another pro is that we get lots of crew discounts, not just on the ship. On the ship, yes, like whatever the guests are paying for stuff, we usually have like a percentage off as a crew discount. But it's not only on the ship, it's also in ports. People in ports, like, they know that guests are just passing through, but crew members, they'll keep seeing the same crew members over and over and over again because our contracts are lengthy, you know, so we always get discounts off of everything. There's always a crew discount, even with transport, shops, everything, you guys. So it's pretty cool. There are lots of things that I actually do not buy unless I am on a ship, like perfumes and stuff. For instance, I would most times wait until I am on a ship to get it at the ship store where we get crew discounts, because back at home I can't get that. In the airport, of course, you get duty free, but you don't get the crew discounts, you know. It's a lovely little perk, I'm not gonna lie. And the last pro that I have here is that you get a really good CV or resume boost. Anytime anyone hears that you worked internationally, first of all, there are lots of certificates and trainings and stuff to be done to work on a cruise ship. So once you go back home, you have all of those certificates and stuff and all that experience to put on your resume, and that's gonna make you so much more suitable for a job above someone else that just has like the same certificates and stuff from home. So let me spill the tea and give you guys the cons of working on cruise ships. Before I tell you guys the cons, I should let you guys know, like, I've worked quite a few different cruise ship companies. These are stuff that I've gathered from across the board. I've been working on cruise ships for 10 years. This is what I've gathered from across the board with the different cruise ship companies and all my different experiences. First con, you get no days off. What is a day off? What is a day off? I'm sorry, what is a day off? No, honey, you don't get that here. When you're working on a cruise ship, you can kiss days off goodbye. There are no weekends, no holidays, no nothing. Everything is just, sometimes we lose track of the days and all. Sometimes I don't even know what day is it today, if it's Wednesday, if it's Sunday. Listen, you can just kiss days off goodbye. Bye-bye, see you. Okay. Second con, apart from having no days off, you work long hours. You can work anywhere from 9 to 12, 13 hours a day. It's not straight, like you won't work 12 hours straight. It's split up into shifts. So you have like a morning shift, then you get a break in between, and then you get a couple hours break, and then you go back in the afternoon, and then whatever time you finish at night, you get to sleep, and then you have to wake up, do it all again the next day. Let's not forget there are no days off, okay? Third con, your contracts are 4 to 9 months long. Generally for officers and musicians, your contracts are 3 to 4 months. But for the rest of the crew, your contracts are 6 to 9 months long. And you can just get extended. So you can be here 10 months, 11 months. Yeah. Another con is that you have constant and rigorous supervision. It's a bit kind of like military style here, like discipline. Everything is kind of military style. Everything is highly regulated, and there are a lot of rules. If you are someone who does not like rules, honey, do yourself a favor and forget about cruise ships. There are a lot of rules. What you're allowed to do, where you're allowed to be, and even what you're allowed to wear. There's a dress code for everything. Day, night, smart casual, formal, everything. We have crew drills every single week, which are not fun. Then after crew drills, you also have cabin inspections, where your cabins are inspected regularly. On this ship that I'm on, it's every week after drill, we have cabin inspection. Our beds must be made, the cabin must be clean and tidy, and there are certain things that we're just not allowed to have in here, and if we fail, then our supervisors will be notified, and then we'll get ish from our supervisors, who will then have to like check it over on the very next day to inspect the cabins again the next day. And we can also get written up and stuff and all of that. Like, when it comes to disciplinary action, it's very formal. Verbal warning, then to written warning, then to hearings, then to dismissal. There's no kind of like leeway. Next con, our living quarters. As you guys can see, I mean, you can't see everything here, but basically I look this way, that's it. They're very small and tight. And then on top of being small and tight, we have to share it. Unless of course you are a higher ranked staff or an officer, then you don't have to share, or your cabin might be a little bit bigger. Another con is that crew members are not allowed in guest areas. So there are like 3 different ranks basically. So you are either a crew, staff, or an officer. The crew members are not allowed in guest areas at all. Staff is basically front of house operations, so I will be considered a staff. Another con is that you will be spending a lot of money on calling cards and internet. There was one contract I spent most of my money on calling home. Y'all, internet out here is very limited and it is very expensive. Our internet comes up more expensive than guests, which is not fair, by the way. I'm not thinking of that because we are here for a longer time. But anyway, 1 hour of internet costs $4 here. That's 1 hour expires within 24 hours. This is US dollars. There are other plans that are bigger, but it roughly amounts to the same thing. Basically, it's $4 for 1 hour. I know, crazy, right? Another con is that you're never really off duty. I said that to you guys in my video titled "What Crew Members Do When We're Not Working." Yeah, we're never really off duty. In case of any emergencies, no matter what time the announcement is made, it could be a medical emergency, fire, security threat, etc., etc. If the announcement is made at 3:30 a.m. while we're in bed, we have to get up and get to our emergency stations. We basically have like roughly around 5 minutes to get there. So that means no matter how much you party hard, we have to always be alert. We cannot be like drunk till where we don't know ourselves and stuff. We always have to like drink responsibly. Another con is that we basically have no privacy. I'm not talking about if you go to the bathroom. I'm just saying, like, this is especially hard for introverts. Honestly, for extroverts, y'all will have a blast working on a cruise ship. I'm not kidding. But for introverts, like kind of myself, I need that time by myself, and there's nowhere to get it because I share cabin. The moment that I leave and walk out of my cabin, there are people everywhere. There's nowhere you can go where you can just be alone. Nowhere except in the toilet. Or, of course, you can pull your curtain and you get that little solitude to yourself. But, of course, if your roommate is there and playing music or talking on the phone or watching something, or you don't get a moment of silence. I'm not gonna lie, I have an amazing roommate, but it's driving me crazy. If I'm being really honest, it's driving me crazy. Also, on other companies, I'm not really used to sharing cabins, if I'm being honest, with my job description. This is actually the 4th time that I'm sharing cabins in 10 years of working on ships. Another con is the food. Yes, I said as a pro you get free food, but listen, there is a catch. There is a catch with the food. If you are from the Caribbean like myself, or anywhere else in the world where you cook with lots and lots of seasoning, all I'm saying is walk with your own seasonings and sauces. Be sure that that is something that you pack in your bags when you're coming on your contract, and make sure you walk with enough to last you your entire contract, because the food is not that great. Another con is the amount of trainings that you have to do. Especially as a new hire, you can expect to spend literally the first month or so just doing trainings and getting certificates and stuff, all in your free time. Yes. So apart from working 9 to 12 hours a day, the little free time that you have to do all these trainings to get these certificates and stuff. You'll be really, really tired by the time you enter your 2nd month of being in your contract. You will already be exhausted, so you'll struggle to make it through the rest of the months. Another con, and this one is really not very pleasant, but crew members are not treated the same as guests, and sometimes we are profiled. To get on and off the ship when you're passing through security, you have to get pat down. You have to take off your shoes, put it in the machine and all of that. But guests don't have to do that. So every day someone is feeling me up. Every single day someone is touching up on my body in order for me to get off on the ship. That's not fun. And then there are also instances where local port authority as well do the same thing. They treat us the same way. Let me give you guys a quick little story time. I was on a ship where we had our home port was Vancouver, Canada, or British Columbia, if you will. When you were getting off the ship, they ask you all kind of questions, and they were asking me like, what is my intent in coming into here? And y'all, I mean, I'm working on the ship. I literally just want to go out and get stuff and come back on, right? That's what most crew members would like to do. They ask you all these questions, all these suspect questions, like it's an interrogation. And then sometimes based on your responses or the way that you look, and of course, as you guys can see, I'm a black woman and I have locks, which is usually like the usual suspect kind of thing. That day when I came back inside, they tore up my entire cabin, you guys. It was like I got robbed. The cabin looked, I wasn't sharing cabin then, but when I went to my cabin, it looked as though you're not walking into your house after a robbery like that. They tore up everything. They left everything just in a hot mess. I was so pissed off, and I was like wondering like, why did this happen to me? And then as I was talking to other crew members and stuff about it, and I even like went to report it and asked like, why did they leave my stuff like that? And other crew members were just saying like, yeah, it happens to you sometimes based on the way that you look. So I was like, well, okay then. So not so very pleasant experiences, but it is what it is. Another con is that the seas are sometimes just rough and you still have to work. Okay, so lots of people always ask me if the ship is rocking all the time. No, the ship isn't rocking all the time. There are so many days where honestly, when we are on here, sometimes you don't really even recognize that you are on a ship until you go outside. You don't really feel it. It only gets really rough when the weather is bad. There's some sort of tropical depression, or it's raining and windy at the same time. And when there's rough seas, and I mean rough seas, I mean like you're going like this. When the sea is like that, you can be feeling how seasick and you still have to work. Another con is this recycled air. It's just dry recycled air, and it can affect your health. Another con is, apart from the air, the water, like the water that you in the shower and the sink that you wash your hands with and stuff, it's severely drying. It's so drying that it almost everyone that works on cruise ships, if you didn't have dandruff or dry scalp before you started working on cruise ships, when you start working on cruise ships, you now have dry scalp or dandruff, and some people get rashes on their skin. Lots of people have skin problems working on ships just because of the water. Another con is that stable long-term relationships are difficult to sustain. So I know I said as a con, you can fall in love and yes, get married and all that, but that is very rare. That is not like what happens all the time. Most of the times, it's the con side that's happening, right? Where you have someone at home, some sort of cheating happens, or it's difficult, communication is difficult because of course the internet is poor here. It's just like so many different issues that may cause it, or maybe your significant other just cannot handle the distance, or maybe you can't handle the distance, or maybe you meet someone on the ship, fall for them, and then the relationship ends when the contract ends. So many things can happen. They are difficult to sustain. And the last con is that you are away from your family and friends for a lengthy period of time. You end up missing important moments, like your children are growing up, your nieces, nephew. You miss your child's first words, or seeing them walk, their first walk, weddings, friends' weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, holidays like Christmas, New Year's. Oh, let me tell you guys a little story time on this one. There was one time I was performing on New Year's Eve at a New Year's Eve party on one of the cruise ships, and I was honestly really excited and stuff because I love singing, I love performing, I love making people happy. I didn't think about it at first. I was just here, yeah, let's do this and stuff, and I was having everybody, and then there was the countdown, and then I had to stop, and we did the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! And then everyone was like hugging and kissing their loved one, and I just in that moment I felt overwhelmed with sadness, just for a brief moment, you guys. Overwhelmed with sadness because I had no one to kiss and say Happy New Year. My mom and sister were at home. You all know my dad, and I have another little sister in St. Vincent. So people that really mattered to me were not there to share those special moments with. Oh, I wasn't home with them to share those moments with. And you know, it's very saddening and even self to wake up on Christmas morning and you have no one to exchange gifts with. I mean, when I say no one, of course you can do gift exchange and stuff with your roommate or with friends on the ship, but it's not the same as waking up with your family and stuff, you know, those really important people. It's not the same. So I was just overwhelmed with sadness, and then I had to start back singing right after the Happy New Year. No, yeah, oh yeah, I had to start back singing right after that because we had to sing Auld Lang Syne, and then got back into the party disco music. So I just had to forget about my feelings there and then and just continue. So that's roughly how it is on holidays and stuff on ships. So it's, yeah. So guys, those were my pros and cons. Is working on cruise ships worth it? I would say if you are willing to put aside the comforts of life, like the things that I mentioned as the cons, and just keep your eye focused on the reason why you started it, like to get a better life, to make a better life for yourself, make a better life for your children, or maybe you're doing it part-time just to travel, not part-time, temporarily, just to travel the world. If you really keep your eyes focused on the reason why you're doing it in the first place, then that keeps you going. And I would definitely say yes. Obviously it's worth it for me because I wouldn't still be here so many years later. But I will say though, if I'm being brutally honest, working on ships isn't for the faint of heart. You have to be really strong to be able to even make it through your first contract, and then after you make it through your first contract to come back for a second one. I always get anybody who's done more than one contract, I'm like, you are a superhero. I'm not even kidding, because you really have to be strong in order to. Oh y'all, let me give you one last little mini story time before I leave. My first time working on cruise ships, my first day I came on, I was so excited and all of that, and then when I woke up the next day and realized where I was, I just started crying. I was like, oh my god, what did I do? Why did I do this to myself? Anyway, you guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did and it was helpful for you guys, then be sure to give it a thumbs up for me. Let me know in the comment section down below if you are interested in working on cruise ships, or if you think it's worth it to work on a cruise ship despite the pros and the cons that you heard in this video. If you work on cruise ships and you are watching this video, then let me know if I missed any pros or cons. You can leave it in the comment section down below as well. And y'all, please subscribe to my channel. It would be amazing to have you guys join my little family, my little internet family. I love you guys so much. And click that notification bell so that you don't miss another upload from me. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Mwah.